Good morning, Internet. This is Tom, negotiating with Jesus, playing my guitar, learning triads. And last night, I wake up in the middle of the night and I have a vision of breakthrough. And it's some kind of glorious vision. It's like a prophetic vision that God is revealing to me. Finally, in my non-plastic brain, plasticity is a thing where you can continue to shape it, in the idea that old people lose some of that plasticity, and it gets to be a little bit of a old dogs don't learn new tricks. Can't teach an old dog. So I'm an old dog, but I'm learning the tricks. We just got to be persistent. So learning all the notes on the fretboard, super helpful, but I still, though I practice them, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, F. Though I practice them, they don't just, I can't see them like, if you watched Psych, they would show the dude, Psych dude, things would light up like he sees it. I don't see all the notes. So, but last night, the revelation of what a triad is and what I have to know. So I'm working on root position, first inversion, and second inversion. And I'm starting to think that if you know where the root is, then you can figure out what inversion you have, but you have to memorize these things. So second inversion is the G on top. If it sounds a little out of tune, but first inversion is the E on top. E is the bass string. And when you say on top, it'd be like if you're looking at notation. I don't read notes, but I looked at the inversions again to try and get this into my head so that it can be an accomplished task. So root shape. C, E, G. 1, 3, and 5. And I also did the 1, 3, and 5. So the Nashville numbering system, where you're playing 1, 4, and 5, the first, the fourth, and the fifth triads, all major. That's one of the 1, 4, 5, the number systems. The other number system, which is confusing, is what notes are you playing for a triad? You're playing C, D, E, F, G. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 3, and 5. If you're going to play a minor, you flatten the thirds. So knowing the numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We were practicing dominant sevenths. So a 7. And it's not the 7 that's a B, it's the flattened 7th. Flattened 7th. So my point is triads. The C cowboy chord, C, E, G, that is the root. Get on to the next one, E, G, C, first inversion. E on top. Then second inversion, G on top. G, C, E. E, G, C. So if I go to this place, I notice that we've got the C in the middle. That means above it is the G, G, C, E. And I have to know this quickly. It has to be useful that I don't have to sit there and think about it. Because I'll do these exercises, then I'll try and say it out loud what I'm doing, and all of a sudden I'm fumbling. I can't figure out what notes I'm looking at. Now, it happened to me last night that I was talking to a gentleman, and I was typing a form out, and I was going to put his first and last name, and all of a sudden blanked on his last name. This is a guy that I know. And I remembered him and his wife. They're a couple, and his last name. What is wrong with the brain? It just has to have these things ready at hand. So the C, knowing all the C's, knowing the C's, being able to play them. So the C in this one is the A moved up. So cage comes in. The C is in the middle. That means above it is the G, C, E, G, C, E. So that's the first. Is that the first E, G? It's the second inversion. G, C, E. Here is back to the first. So we play the triads on the bottom. C, E, G. This is what I was doing, practicing the triads. C on the bottom, E, G, C. C, E, G, E on the, that's the, what is that? The first inversion. The E is the low note. C, E, G, E, G, C. So just knowing this and be able to draw on it quickly without thinking, that's my goal. Same as when I'm soloing. Knowing where the notes are by instinct, by feel, because you've grasped them. So right now I'm looking at a breakthrough in triads after all this time. It becoming clear to me is the goal. It's not there, but all of a sudden I had an insight. Oh, I just have to pay attention to where the C's are. C on top. C on the bottom. C in the middle. And then to memorize that C in the middle is the second inversion. Root, first, second. That is the same as C in the middle, C in the middle, second. Root. First, C on the bottom. C on the top. Root. What did I say C on the bottom is? First. So, I'm continuing to do this. We're 8.5 minutes in. I basically just told you I'm working on triads still. I'm going to give a guy lessons. I think the best way to now continue to learn this is to teach. The best way to learn yourself is to teach. I've got a young guy, a teen, I think. I'm going to start giving lessons, and all this stuff is going to come into play because I get the importance now at the very end of my life. I get the importance of understanding the fretboard, understanding triads, all that stuff. So I'll keep going. See ya.